Hi, everybody. Craig Shacklett from URComped here, and we've got a special guest in our Meet the Influencer series. We've got Casino Fanatic Andy. Andy, thank you so much for being here.
I'm very excited to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
You know, obviously you're putting out a lot of amazing content. One thing that I wanted to really made me want to interview you is that unlike most influencers in the casino space who really just focus on YouTube or YouTube and Facebook as their main channels, you've built a tremendous following on TikTok. So tell me about that. Why TikTok?
Yeah, so essentially kind of as I started my channel, it really started out of, I need a hobby. It was the end of the pandemic, or it was late 2020. My wife's like, you need a hobby, you need to do something. And since I like going to the casino, I thought to myself, well, I'm going to try it. Now, my ultimate expectation was that it was going to fail. I didn't have any expectations. And so I started on TikTok because the app had come out and I started thinking like it felt like so much work from a production standpoint to be on YouTube and try to build it. So I thought, what's easier than having a phone in my hand and be like, what's up, everybody? How's it going? And so my original goal was 50,000 lifetime views. That was going to determine success for me. And I thought to myself, I don't think I'm going to get there. Well, I got there very quickly. And it's obviously gone so much more there. So from TikTok, it's kind of like that baby for me. Like I started there. I was on it before. I was one of the first people to do TikTok lives from a casino. And, was my first TikTok live was in Vegas, walking up and down the Las Vegas Strip. And so I have a huge loyal following there. And from there, I took a different approach. Like when I started doing Twitch for casino live streams because TikTok kind of shut down casino lives. And so I thought I could either go to YouTube or I'm going to go to try to do Twitch. And I chose Twitch. And throughout, I get that question a lot of why don't you pivot towards YouTube more? It's kind of like my least target. And I think it goes back to like what my goals and interests are. Like this is just fun for me. I do make money off of it, but it has to be fun. And YouTube feels like a lot of work and a lot of production value that I'm not interested in investing a lot of time in at this particular moment. So Facebook's growing, Instagram's growing. It's all just a matter of what's ease, and YouTube just feels more production heavy. And that's just not me.
Yep. Well, and you've got a great sense of humor that comes across well in TikTok. And I think maybe that's a better vehicle or channel for that. Because in preparing for this, I watched a few and I was cracking up just at your short clip. So is that something like you just enjoyed that format?
Yeah, I think that with TikTok, as you notice, there's a tremendous amount of different content I put out. It's literally what I like about it is that, yes, there is a brand and a target. It's casino related, but it's also just fun life general. My biggest TikTok view and my biggest moneymaker view was when I won at the casino and bought my wife a Michael Kors bag and surprised her with it. And that got millions and millions of views. This has nothing to do, that would never get posted on a YouTube format or a Facebook format. But I was just like, hey, if I win today, I'm buying my wife Michael Kors. And I just followed that journey. Again, it feels like it's easier for me just to kind of pivot with how I'm feeling.
And so now charting the growth of your channel, you said earlier that your goal was 50,000 lifetime views and you blew past that. Now, was there one piece of content, maybe that was it, what you just described, where it's like, oh man, this is for real? Because now you're well over 100,000 followers on TikTok. It's growing every day. But was there one pivotal piece of content you put out that really rocket launched you?
Well, I think it was just starting to get this consistent views. And then it felt like all of a sudden brands were reaching out to me. And that's what I'm like. At first it was these small little brands like email, oh, like your videos. And so I just kept pushing videos out and kind of doing it. And I was really resistant to work with brands initially because I'm like, this is like for fun. I'm not interested in branding. But as more serious people came in, it kind of, my first partnership was with a place in Colorado, and it just was like, I kind of walked away from that. Like, it really was just a comped hotel room at a casino and a meal. And I went back like, oh my gosh. And then I was in the Denver airport, and I got recognized, like sitting with my hat on, and just someone was on a layover and they recognized, I love your videos. And I'm like, oh my goodness, what is this? And my wife, even, who's like sitting next to me, she's like, did we just get recognized in an airport where no one knew where we were? This isn't crazy. And that's when I'm starting to be like, okay. But I think it was kind of on the flip side of that, it was also like, oh my gosh, I have a lot of responsibility now.
Hmm.
People look for me, and I got to make sure that I want to make people like this. It's one of those things. Responsible gambling is so important to me because I've been there when I was younger, throwing away money that I shouldn't have thrown away. And so it's kind of like I have to find that balance between like, yay, it's so fun, versus there is a reality of it as well.
Now, so when you started getting traction, and you mentioned brands were reaching out, were these brands all casino related?
It's no, it was all over the place. It was clothing brands. It was, everybody, Amazon wanted me to be an Amazon influencer and create videos for commissions for products before TikTok Shop opened. And most of them were probably not real, just like spam. They got my email. We love your video, Andy, insert
Yeah.
word. So I really didn't undo it. And I've kind of set like the channel for me, even today, is once it stops being fun, I'm done.
Mhm.
That's just kind of how I've operated. So I haven't really tried to integrate a lot of branding. So a lot of times it was delete, 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 delete. Not interested.
What's your favorite? You mentioned, hey, if it stops being fun, I'm done. What's your favorite part? What's the most fun for you about this channel?
I think it's actually meeting people. Like, I'm a social person, and meeting people that are good people who share a similar passion for me. And I feel like I can make a difference for people. And it's also like this community. It's just this community that we're building. My mother passed away from Alzheimer's a couple of years ago, and just the outpouring. I got over 100 letters to my PO box from fans saying, we're so sorry for your loss,
Wow.
and your channel means so much to me. I know you're hurting. And I was just like, oh my goodness, it really, honestly, I'll say, before I started my channel, I thought the world was more negative than I think it really was. And when I started doing this and seeing how good people were, that just fueled my fire.
Oh,
Now,
that's amazing.
that doesn't mean I don't get a lot of hate, but the hate just is like, doesn't matter to me because there's so much positivity.
Oh, that's great to hear, because a lot of people are scared to take the step out because any negativity will outweigh 100 positive comments. And it's nice that you've got the attitude of just, let it roll out.
It took a lot. It took a lot, but I think that's what people always ask me. What should I do to start a channel? And then my answer is film a video. What do you have to lose? Someone calls you an idiot because they stand behind a computer. So be it.
Yeah. So when we make these videos, we got two audiences. One, of course, the URComped audience that consumes content like yours every day, and we love introducing the URComp family to new awesome influencers like you. But it's also on LinkedIn and casino executives that are watching this, and for them, it's their biggest interest is how can working with influencers like Casino Fanatic Andy translate into revenue, into new visits, incremental trips. So with your channel, you mentioned an event in Colorado, or you worked with a brand in Colorado. Like, maybe you can talk about how you've seen like your channel translate to revenue and new visits for casinos you've been to.
Sure. Yeah. So the first casino I partnered with was in Colorado, which I live in Wisconsin. So I flew out there, and I was like, they reached out to me, and I ended up my first time there having 16 people show up for a meet and greet as a relatively small influencer at the time. And people were flying from out of state to come meet me, which is so weird.
Yeah.
But it brought people. Now I know that there's a couple that came to meet me and have gone back 3 or 4 times to Colorado to that property because they would have never have thought to go there. And even so many people that I know aren't aware of that destination. And so when you bring in a creator, and it's the right creator, I think that's really important, that's actually looking to ask the question of the casino of like, what can I do for you? Or what do you want? Because there's a lot of creators that are like, give me, give me, give me, give me. And those are the people you want to try to probably avoid, but more of like, how can I make this mutually beneficial for you? And that casino always, I have a standing offer to go, and they reach out to me and they do this. On the other side of it, like, I'm in a week, I'm going to Las Vegas and I'm partnering with a casino property there for a bingo event. And if I got X amount of people to show up, they were going to give me my bingo for free and give me some other little stuff there. And I sold out, right? And I'm not even a bingo creator, but I enjoy bingo. And so I have, 15 people flying to Vegas to go and do this. Now for the casino, it doesn't cost them much money. A free room, a dinner, because I don't ask for, I just want a proof. I want more of a proof of concept before I start trying to make this a real solid type of deal. But I think my thing when I look at the business side of it, there's so many creators out here who probably don't have the best interest at heart and don't understand the business side of it. And what I've tried to do with my channel and where it's been good on the deals is I have my MBA. I understand the business side of it. I'm going to represent your brand well if you give me what I need to do. And I think you have to understand there's more than just, there's millions of creators now with TikTok. But there is surprisingly, like my local casino, every time I go there, I get recognized 10, 15 times. People explicitly go there because I go there. Now, the risk for businesses is I had a casino that I had permission to. I had a badge with my name on it, social influencer. New manager came in, cut the program, didn't tell me on a live stream, kicked me out of the casino.
No.
And I'm like, I have a badge right here. They're like, too bad. 50 plus people banned. They said, I'm not going to that casino anymore. They treated you like that. So when
Yeah.
you work with influencers and the casino's perspective, like if you're going to change stuff or change things, give them the heads up, because they're like I told my fans, don't hate this casino. Don't hate them. But there's still people, it's been a year and a half, who are like, I am not going to that place because they treated you wrong.
Yep.
I'm like, whoa. So there is a risk there as well. But I think usually the benefit outweighs it as long as you understand it, from my perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. And so obviously not kicking you out is table stakes for what would make a successful visit. But what else do you think casinos can do that will help them get the most traction, whether it's the most visits or even after the videos are posted? Yeah, what is it like during your trip, and then what after can help them get the most mileage out of having you come visit?
Yeah, sure. I think during the trip, I think outlining what you hope your expectations are for the creator visit. If it's like, if you're just throwing them a hotel that they would be comped if they were a player as a normal gambler, you can't have a lot of expectations. But if you're trying to really partner with them and look at developing it, kind of just saying like, look, what do you think I could get for video views off this? And there's no guarantee there, but even video views aren't as important. So when I go to a property, I'm like, is there something you want me to highlight on your property? So the one in Colorado was like, we just redid our sports book there. Can you just highlight some videos? And I'm like, well, then can I ask about sports betting? And so for them, I got to interview their sports betting person. I got to highlight their casino. And it made me feel like I'm learning things as well. But I think post visit, one of the things, like all of these casino partnerships so far that I've worked with have been me interacting with the brand on videos. So like, I feel like if you have so like the first Colorado one, I just liked their property and I liked their videos. And so I started commenting on their videos, and then they commented back. And I think it's important that if you're wanting to partner and get a value out of it, there's so much value if seeing if the brand is communicating on videos, because the fans are watching the video, they're looking at the comments, And if the casino goes in and starts replying to each comment, or as many as possible, like the first day or two after it's released, you're going to get people like, whoa, this is
Yeah.
really cool.
One of us.
That's one of us. They might actually care about us. And I think, like the Plaza in Las Vegas is really good about that type of interaction and accepting creators. And they really try to get involved.
Where do you think this is going over the next couple, 3 years? The obviously more and more channels popping up, and casinos are getting more and more accepting and embracing. Like, where do you think this trend leads to?
I think that there's a real risk of so many people just popping up and joining the channel that they're going to ruin it for everybody else. Like TikTok, there were so many people like scamming people for money and doing all of this as more money gets into play, more nefarious characters get into the space. And that's just kind of my worry. Like, somebody's going to ruin it, or somebody's going to have something involved in that. And I think as I look towards the future, I think it's going to keep growing. Gambling is going to be more and more popular. And I think right now the economy's relatively strong, so all these gamblers can continue gambling who might not gamble. But eventually a lot of these creators burn out because they just lose all their money.
Now, you mentioned like, hey, there's nefarious activities and dumb things that creators can do that could poison the well. One, what are some of those activities? And then two, are there any steps casinos can take to preempt that? Maybe it's an agreement, like, hey, if you're going to film here, do not do X, Y, Z. So maybe you can outline what some of those things are casinos should look out for.
Sure. So the most common one is filming the casino cage. For whatever reason, casinos are very, 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 very sensitive about showing their cashier cage. Table games are becoming much more acceptable of filming the table games area, but I see a lot of creators doing that. I also see a lot of creators without permission filming employees and guests. And it's like, or even making comment like an employee, that if you start filming people without asking permission, like, that is going to create problems for you. What I wish casinos would do that are accepting of creators is having a link on their website that says creator information, where there would be an FAQ. Like for where I go the most, they gave me a little letter saying you have permission in case anybody gives you, and these are the things you can't do. These are the things we can do. But giving that access to people, like if you want to embrace creators, and you can't get mad at them if they don't know something they don't know. Like a lot of people just think they can film anybody because that's the world we're in. But casinos get a little sensitive because of privacy. People don't want to be seen necessarily gambling if they're married. Like if they're in Vegas and they're on a guy's trip and you catch them gambling, there's just some sensitivity there. And I wish that casinos would be more open about, like, we're happy to have people film here. How do we get information on what I can and cannot do? And even like for me, the biggest challenge for me is I will never film at a place I don't have permission. Like, getting permission is so hard.
Where do you normally start?
I normally start either through their marketing department and actually through LinkedIn. Sometimes I've reached out to hosts through email. But I live in Wisconsin. I'm like an hour and a half from Chicago. Every Chicagoland casino I've reached out to just ghost me. And it's like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But like, the world has changed a little bit. And then there's other casinos that are just like actively reaching out to me like, hey, if you want to come. And here's what we want to do. So I think if you want to embrace it, you have to understand that. I think also it's important with creators is explaining that maybe this is one of the things that, like, during off hours, turn your music down.
Hmm.
Because a lot of these videos get copyrights on them because the music. So when the casino's busy and there's lots of noise, everybody hears the music, but TikTok or YouTube doesn't pick up on that as a copyright. But when nobody's there and the music is so loud,
Right.
you just know that video is going to get flagged. And
That's
so
interesting.
like if you go out to Vegas, where like at the Plaza, they have the Brian Christopher slots area, that has non-copyright music playing all the time, so that anybody that's in there will never get a copyright strike or a copyright flag.
That's really smart. I hadn't thought about that. So, kind of summarize: one, be upfront about, hey, from the casino's perspective, don't film the cage, don't film other people. Is there anything else that like you wish casinos would be more upfront about? Not just for you, because it sounds you know a lot of the things I shouldn't do, but maybe some of these influencers that don't know what they should and shouldn't do. Is there anything else you wish casinos would just spell out to avoid bad things happening?
No, I just think that's the things, like, where can I film and where am I going to get in trouble? Or some casinos that I work with, they would like you to notify them when you come in, so that they know that security. Because like for me, the biggest worry for me sometimes is, as I've gotten more recognized, is people watch me. And sometimes I don't feel safe.
Mhm.
I've kind of changed. And so there's some properties that say, look, if you want to be an influencer, no problem, but just check in with security so that we can keep an eye on you to make sure you're safe.
Mm.
Because the last thing a casino wants to do is an influencer get robbed on a live stream.
Right. Yeah, that would not be good for
That would not be good. And that's like, that's kind of that's the reality. And I've had to change how I go to the casino. But just the casino's just explaining, if they want you to check in with security, if they want you to do this, if you need permission, if you don't need permission, or just even saying, like, I would love it on a website if it said creator friendly.
Mm-hmm.
So I could say, okay, when I'm looking, they've got a little thing on the bottom under all those terms. We are creator friendly, so that I can say to myself, all right, this might be somebody who I could work with, or that will at least allow me to come in and film. And as long as it's mutually beneficial. But I think for a casino, I think they want to spell it out. Like, even just like, hey, tag us in a video, or put the location where we're at. Because
Mm-hmm.
otherwise I can film a slot machine. Nobody's going to know where it's ever at, and it's no benefit to the property.
Right. That makes total sense. All right. Well, as we wrap this up, got a couple more questions.
Sure.
One more fun. What is currently your favorite game to play in the casino?
I move around a lot. I play lots of slot machines, but I think I really like the Mighty Cash machines. I don't know why it is. I used to be the Wheel of Fortune when it was 3/4 Wheel of Fortune. That was like my go-to machine. But now probably it's going to be more of a Mighty Cash machine.
Looking forward over the next 12 months, what are you most excited about with Casino Fanatic Andy, your multiple channels? What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to really seeing my growth continue to accelerate, where I can feel like, and having some true partnerships with casinos or entities, where I feel like I want to be like this brand ambassador, where it's just like I can just be like, hello, I love this place, and I really want to be that, where I become that known partner collaboration, that instead of just trying to feel like I'm grinding around and doing stuff like that, just being more like, these are the things that I can focus on and really help my channel.
Nice. Well, if a casino executive is listening to this, like, I want Casino Fanatic Andy to be that for us. How do they get a hold of you? Yeah, tell us your coordinates.
Yeah, so they can reach out at my website. It's cfaslots.com, Casino Fanatic Andy slots.com, or Casino Fanatic 78 at gmail.com. And I'll say the 78s because when I started this channel, I was like, Casino Fanatic sounds good. And what was the year I was born? 78. Okay, I'm putting 78 on it because I didn't think it was going anywhere. So
Yeah.
I was just like, I have to come up with something. But yeah, so they can reach out to me there. And I do have, I just hired my first like channel manager who's kind of helping me stay on track with all of the opportunities and things like that. So that's pretty exciting too. So that's exciting for this year too.
You know what? Actually, that I'm curious about that. So, what is as you grow? I know I said we're wrapping up, but actually, this is you open up something I've been curious about. I forgot to ask. So, as you grow, and you kind of the expectation of a growing channel is put out more and more content, and obviously, you have another full-time job, like a lot of people do. So, what is when you think about growing your channel? What is that first hire? Who are they? I mean, not this individual, but like in general, who are they and what do they kind of take off your plate?
Sure. Yeah. So for the first person, it's actually a longtime friend of mine who I pay and just kind of do this. But really, the things that I have her starting to do first is like the comments get overwhelming on videos. And it's like, hey, can you just read the comments? And if there's things that I need to really follow up on, send me or let me know. The first thing is like just go through all these comments, it's hundreds of them, and see if there's anything I need to know. The other side of it is I get a lot of email inquiries on the inbound side of it, and almost helping me stay organized, like or being like, all right, I'm telling her, I'm learning, teaching her, like, I'm not interested in this type of a deal. It's kind of hard for me because I'm used to controlling it, but it's really just like helping with comments, helping, reaching out to properties to see if they can, she's trying to help with anything. But I think it's the first hire was more on, I just needed help with, there's so much content. I push out on so many channels. People tell me I push out on way too many channels, but I just want to push stuff out there. And so she's just kind of helping me stay focused.
Guys, so you enjoy the content creation side. So you're still doing that, all the content creation, editing, posting is still you, but it's more the community building and business side
Right.
she's taking up.
Community building, reminding myself to do things and kind of just making the community aware of what I'm doing and where I'm going. And so I think it's been a huge help having someone just kind of help or even just bounce ideas off of like, man, I'm feeling stressed about this. I don't run content by her because I want to keep my content me.
Yeah.
But she kind of just helps with everything else.
That's awesome. Well, for the URComped family members that want to watch some of these videos, they're amazing. The one that cracked me up about like what to do if somebody gets on your slot machine, it's like some old martial arts video.
Yeah.
It cracked me up. So yeah, tell us all your channels. How do people find you?
So I'm on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook under Casino Fanatic Andy. Twitch is still Casino Fanatic 78. That's just, it won't let me change it. I would say my live streams are on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. I go live on Tuesdays and Thursday nights from the casino, and then typically every other weekend I'll go live as well. So I go live a lot. So if you like to watch live slots or like and be part of the community, I go live like 6 or 7 hours a week in a casino. It's a lot, but I love it. That's what fuels me, is like sitting here filming a video by myself. That's fine. I just love the interaction, and that's where we can really kind of highlight. I think that and I know we're trying to wrap this up, but for casinos, I think it's important to know, are you filming live or are you filming for post-release? Because a post-release is more of a production, setting up, it's doing this thing. They don't really need a lot of attention. If it's live, that person's moving around, doing a lot of things, and fans are going to follow along and they're going to be playing, and it's going to attract more positive attention. So like when I was in Colorado, when I had my first one, 15 people were there. I said, all right, I'm going to go live. You guys want to gamble with me? Let's gamble. So 2 hours of this group, we're moving around to banks of machines. I'm playing, I'm doing stuff, and they're playing machines. We're all celebrating wins. So if you have someone who's really good at lives, that will get you more buzz and more people in the casino, because they just love, like, when you just film a video. Like, I have a lot of people come up who know me, have a permission, they want to just say hi, but they get like, hey, how's it going? Say hi. They love that. Hey, I'm in a video.
Yeah,
It's cool. And I remember this casino, that's where I met Andy, and I really like that place.
that's awesome. That's really cool. Well, Andy, Casino Fanatic Andy, thank you so much. It's been
Sure.
really enlightening. I really appreciate it. And let's do
Yep.
this again soon.
All right, sounds great. Thank you so much.